Hey, 8th grade math students, this is the lesson that we did Friday, September 4th, if you want to review. First, we reviewed taking a decimal and turning it into a fraction. So if I have 0.4, that's in the 4 is in the tenths place value, so I would put 4 over 10, and I would reduce that fraction. Both of these numbers are even, so I would divide by 2. So that reduces down to 2/5. So that's how we can turn a decimal into a fraction. We also reviewed how to turn a decimal number into, a fraction into a decimal. So if I have 1 over 2, I'm going to take my denominator and divide it into my numerator. It goes 0 times. 2 goes into 10, however, 5 times. And this is one of these decimal fraction conversions that we need to have memorized. So these are the things that we need to just know. We know that 1/2 is 0.5 as a decimal. We need to know that 3/4 is 0.75. We need to know that 1/3 is 0.3 repeating. We need to know that 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. We need to have these memorized. Our main topic was how to convert a repeating decimal into a fraction. Convert a repeating decimal into a fraction. You may want to get out a sheet of notes, copy this down, and go along with us. Let's start off by saying that we have 0.1 repeating. Notice that 1 is in the tenths place value and it's repeating. So if I wrote this out, it would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, so forth. It keeps going, same pattern. What we're going to do is we're going to solve the equation. I'm going to say that this is x, and we're going to solve the equation. What's different about this equation is you already know what the answer is. This is x. Typically in an equation, we try to solve for x and figure out what the unknown is. But I'm telling you what it is 0.1 repeating. However, it's going to look a little different at the end because our goal is to have a fraction. So since that 1 is repeating in the tenths place value, I'm going to multiply both sides by 10. So that gives me 10x. When I multiply 10 on the other side, all I'm doing is moving that decimal one place. So that is going to give me 1.1 repeating when I multiply by 10. My next step is to get rid of this repeating 1. I'm going to subtract both sides by x. Because remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Now, I'm not going to put minus x over here. I'm going to put this value in for x. I'm going to subtract 0.1 repeating. That is the value of x. So I'm keeping my equation balanced by subtracting the same amount from both sides. On the left-hand side, I have 10x minus 1x. That's going to give me 9x. Keep your equal signs lined up in any equation. 1.1 repeating minus 0.1 repeating, it just cancels out the repeating mess. And it leaves me with 1. Keep solving the equation. Divide both sides by 9. 9 is your coefficient. 9 divided by 9 cancels out. So after I divide by 9 on both sides, I have a fraction of 1/9, which is the same value as the repeating decimal 1 repeating, 0.1 repeating. So that's how we convert a repeating decimal into a fraction. Let's look at another example. Let's say that we have 0.54. And in this situation, the 5 and the 4 keep repeating. So it would be 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this equal to x, and I'm going to solve the equation. Notice that that 4 is in the hundredths place value. So now I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. Move that decimal over 2 places to show that I'm multiplying by 100, so that gives me 54.54 repeating. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Remember, this is x. So I'm going to subtract 0.54 repeating on both sides. All that does is it cancels out my repeating mess. So I have 100 x's minus 1x gives me 99 x's. 54 take away 0 gives me 54. Divide by your coefficient of 99. X gives you 54 over 99. However, we always need to reduce our fraction. So you need to think of a number that'll go into 54 and 99. And the highest number that you can think of, that's what we're going to reduce by. In this situation, we are going to divide by 9. 9 goes into 54 6 times. 9 goes into 99 11 times. Now I have a reduced fraction. 6 over 11 is the same value as 0.54 repeating. Another type of example is if we have 0.83, but only the 3 is repeating. I'm going to set this equal to x, and I'm going to solve the equation. Notice that the 3 is in the hundredths place, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. Moving that decimal over 2 places. Remember, just the 3 is repeating, so that's 0.83333. And if I move it over 2 places, I've got 83.3 repeating. Now here, this one's a little tricky because I can't subtract by x alone. My x is 0.83 repeating, and if I subtracted that, that's not going to get rid of my repeating 3. Well, in this situation, what I need to do is I need to subtract 10x. So if I take 10x and move this number over, that means I'm going over 1 decimal place. So 10x is 8.3 repeating. Notice that 0.3 repeating. That's what we need to cancel out this 0.3 repeating. So I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. 10x is 8.3 repeating, so I'm going to subtract 8.3 repeating. 100x minus 10x gives me 90x. My repeating 3's cancel out. 83 minus 8 gives me 75. Then I'm going to divide by 90. My 90s cancel out. And I need to reduce the fraction. These are both divisible by 5. I could keep dividing by 5. Also, I also notice that they are divisible by 3. So I'm going to reduce each fraction and divide by 15. 75 divided by 15 is 5. 90 divided by 15 is 6. So there's my reduced fraction, 5/6.